In this lesson, we're going to talk about how to work with numbers in Python. We're going to be using the interactive shell again, so go to your Python subdirectory, type Python to open the shell. Again, you probably need to do that from your 2.7.2 version of Python. There are several different types of numbers you can work with in Python. The most common is the integer, such as 100, or the floating point number, such as 3.14159. But you can also work with hexadecimal, octal, and binary numbers in Python. Python has the standard mathematical operators: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Python also has modulus, so if you type 4 modulus 2, that returns the remainder of dividing 4 by 2. See, that's 0, whereas 3 mod 2 returns 1. Also has an exponent operator, so if I want to find 2 to the second power, I can type 2 star star or asterisk asterisk 2 to get 4, or 100 to the third power, which is 1,000,000. When you're working with mixed number types in Python, such as integers and floating points, Python always converts up so that 1 plus 2.2 will be equal to 3.2 rather than 3, because here Python will convert up from integer to floating point. And that's a great thing, because it'll keep you from accidentally losing some data. Another thing to keep in mind when working in Python is that the operators have an order of precedence. Think my dear Aunt Sally, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, for the most common of the operators. So that 1 plus 2 times 3 is 7 instead of 9, because the multiplication, 2 times 3, is performed before the addition. If you want to change the order of precedence, then use parentheses, like so, to give us 9 instead of 7, because here we're forcing the addition before the multiplication. Python has some built-in mathematical functions as well, such as pow, which performs power, taking 2 to the third power, or absolute value, which will return the absolute value of its argument, or round, which will round up or down its argument either to the next highest whole number or to the next lowest whole number. There are also some math functions that you can import, such as square root and floor, are just two examples. The literature will give you a full list of all the mathematical functions. And then finally, for performing random number generation, you can import the random library, and its random function will return a random number between 0 and 1. Or if you want to return a value within a range, you can type random.randomInt or randint, and then the range 1, 100, and it will provide a random integer in the range from 1 to 100. So that's a very quick look at how to work with numbers in Python. I don't want to spend too much time on that, because we could spend forever going over all of the features of numbers in Python. There's lots of tutorials on the internet and lots of reference material if there's something that we didn't cover in here that you're interested in. Some of the other lessons will also bring up some points about numbers in Python. But for now, we're going to move on to the next lesson, where we're going to talk about working with strings in Python. In this lesson, we're going to spend a little time looking at how strings are handled in Python. So we're also going to work with the interactive shell again this lesson, so let's load that first. So a string is any set of characters, actually, to be more precise, any sequence of characters inside single or double quotes. So we can write a string hello world inside single quotes, or we can put it inside double quotes. Single quotes are more the standard for Python, so I'll try to use those more often, but double quotes are more standard across most programming languages, so every once in a while I will revert to double quotes, just out of habit more than anything else. So our string str holds the value hello world. One of the first operations we can perform on strings is concatenation. So here I'm going to concatenate another string to string by using the plus sign. So now if I look at string, it says hello world, goodbye world. So concatenation would be one of the first operations you need to learn when working with strings, because often you're going to want to combine data into one string or append data to an existing string, so you'll do that via the concatenation operator, the plus sign. There's several functions and operations we can perform on strings. One of the built-in functions is len for length, and that will tell us how many characters are in a string. Let's go back and set our string back to hello world. So if we perform len on the string, we'll see that that's 13 characters. Strings are sequences in Python where each character of the string has a unique position. So for example, if I want to see the first character of a string, I can use what looks like array notation to display the first character of the string, which is H. And notice I use 0 because the first position is position 0. Position 1 will be the second character, which is the E. Something else you can do is you can take what's called a slice. So I can write 0:4, and that gives me the first 4 characters. So if I do any other slice, we get characters like that. Or I can just provide the number of characters I want, and it will give me those. Another way to do it would be, and that gives me everything after the specified character. So there's lots of ways to work with slices in Python. You can repeat a string by using the multiplication operator, so that str times 2 will give me hello world, hello world. Let's look at another example. The split operator takes a single argument, a delimiter, and splits up the string into a list based on that delimiter. So in the string above I have now is the time, each separated by a comma, each word separated by a comma. And then when I type string split on the comma, split returns a list with each word in its own position in a list. We're going to talk about lists in a future lesson, so don't worry about those too much right now. We can also put special characters into a list. For example, \n is the new line character. And if I did a print, like so, notice that it put a new line between hello world and goodbye world. Finally, if I have rogue spaces in a string, I can use strip and its sister function, rstrip, to strip out those spaces. Use that a lot when you're converting text from one source to another, or just trying to clean up data. A lot of data that you get from the user has extraneous spaces at the beginning or end of strings, and you can use strip and rstrip to clean it up. There's a multitude of information I can provide you about strings, but these are the major concepts and functions and features you need to understand to work with most of the rest of the lessons in this course. So we'll leave strings for now and move to another data type, the Boolean data type, which we use to work with true and false values.